Hello, welcome to the channel. Thanks for clicking. Huge topic to talk about today is the whole Cuties controversy has exploded now the French film has been released, and hashtag cancel Netflix is trending worldwide and everyone has lost their minds. And I'm not surprised because this movie takes the biscuit. So to give some background, essentially, in August 2020, a trailer and poster was released for an upcoming award-winning foreign movie that was coming to Netflix in September. And yes, insanity ensued. See, this is what the poster looked like. And as you can tell, totally appropriate, right? Certainly zero alarm bells ringing. And this is what was included in the trailer. Now, as you can imagine, this did not go over as intended. Notice the 1.6 million dislikes here, though to their credit they haven't disabled comments, so I suppose that's one thing in their favour. But this seemed to clearly be a film that's about sexualising prepubescent girls for a film, which, according to the director, whose name I ain't even going to try to attempt, is meant to condemn the hypersexualisation of young girls. Okay, so let me just pause the trailer at 30 seconds here, in which the child falls back, legs akimbo, so the filmmakers can get a nice wide crotch shot of a 12-year-old. I mean, what exactly is this condemning? Because it just seems to be leering to me. You know, it's not unlike Michael Bay's shots of Megan Fox in Transformers. Look at that. God, I'm probably going to get put on a list for this, but, well, it's got to be said. So anyway, it seems to me that the director presumably told this girl to spread her legs so we can get a nice crotch shot directly into camera. And then the editors and producers and studio all signed off on that to be included in the final product and the marketing campaign. The fact that no one seemed to stop and think, maybe this isn't particularly a good look for our film, speaks volumes. One of the biggest what the fuck moments was also the fact that the rating for this movie is an 18 in the UK and rated M for mature in the States. Why is it required that you have to be 18 or an adult to watch this movie? Who is this made for? Who is this made for? I thought the director said it was about kids. So it's not made for a younger audience because it's rated 18 and M. So it's then actually made for adults, isn't it? What kind of adults want to watch a movie about gyrating, twerking children? That's right, only a very special audience indeed. An audience like... Oh, hell no! That's Sterling Van Wagenen. Or Wagenen, however you pronounce it. He was the co-founder of the Sundance Film Festival, where this movie won top prize last year. And do you know what else is interesting about him? That's right, he's going to jail for 6 years to life for sexually fiddling a girl when she was 7 and 9. Unbelievable. And he had confessed to having done this to another child back in 1993. Now, even though it says he hasn't been with the Institute for 20 years, it seems like the culture he's fostered is carrying on his creepy legacy, because now we see that we have a serial abuser in an extremely high position connected to the Sundance Festival, which this year awarded a prize to a movie involving the hypersexualization of young girls. These are the cultural gatekeepers of not just what is acceptable, but worthy of praise, honour, trophies, all of that kind of thing. Something's seriously wrong with this industry. Really is. Anyway, so that's the background, and that brings us brilliantly to this thread that I saw on Twitter last night from someone called Ghost Jim, and this chap has collated all of this stuff into a highly disturbing thread. So if you're still not convinced this is a pedo movie made by pedos for pedos, then let's look at these clips he's exposed, and you will change your mind, trust me.
What are you doing? I don't know if you have the same thing I have, and you know you wanna see me dancing now. You got many different ways to let me know. What's the more reason why I gotta stop? Muévelo, yeah. Muévelo, the one who's gonna ride. Mind your business, hoe, I got mine. Muévelo, yeah. Muévelo, time to waste. Gotta get the baby shit and say, dame papi, tú me empapas como nadie lo hace. Dale, dame, dime, baby, yo te dejo en trance. Papi, ponte pila, mami, espera, quiere late. Muévelo, you know what I'm talking. I was just only 5 when mama me was gone and daddy trying to get another puss inside. Little girl, need a love, granny sent me, she's the boss. You cannot even talk, I can be what I want. You know what I'm talking. Move it, give me, touch me. Talk to me so dirty. You got me so crazy. Dame papi, tú me empapas como nadie lo hace. Dale, dame, dime, baby, yo te dejo en trance. Papi, ponte pila, mami, espera, quiere late. You know what I'm talking. Dame papi, tú me empapas como nadie lo hace. Dale, dame, dime, baby, yo te dejo en trance. Papi, ponte pila, mami, espera, quiere late. You know what I'm talking. Como nadie lo hace. Move it, give me, touch me. Ready? Go! Late. You know what I'm talking.
وسير أعمال الكيان هباء فذاك الذي يجري إلى غير آية ويبلو أقمار الشهود عساء وتبصر بيوتي صباحا
I know my shit got you on fire. Give me more time, baby, don't stop. I don't care if you really wanna trust me. I just wanna dance, you look at me. I know my shit got you on fire. Bones back on them just like a low tie. Thick girl, you know I'm really on my witty. So right, you gotta scream when you see me. You watch my hips make love to the melody. Ring to get in his smoke with the left and you. All I wanna hear that I'm better than you. Show me what you got, make me feel like confused. You and me together gonna make a dream true. Ooh, what this nigga saw me for and you. And you. You don't. You what? Wait, who are you? Huh? Pull up on my bitches, I'm coming. Pull up on my bitches, I'm coming. Pull up on my bitches, I'm coming. I know my shit got you on fire. Pull up on my bitches, I'm coming. Do you want me to stay? Do you want me to go? You just have to tell me, cause I need to know. And you, all I wanna feel that you want me for you. Dime lo que quieras, yo tengo más que tú. All the in the stage, I can wait to probe you. Oh, why you mad if you know this is true? Show me what you got, make me feel like confused. I can take no more, I'm about to get high. Pull up on my bitches, I'm coming. Pull up on my bitches, I'm coming. Pull up on my bitches, I'm coming. I know my shit got you on fire. Pull up on my bitches, I'm coming. You don't have the time.
You know, I have to sit and wonder. The writer must have had to write stage directions in the script for the characters to touch themselves. The director had to ask the young performers to then act it out, presumably showing them herself how to do it. The producers then watched the dailies. The editors selected the clips. The producers signed off on it. The director signed off on it. The studio signed off on it. Netflix saw it and bought it, and thereby they signed off on it as stunning and brave as well. So did not one person stop to think throughout this whole thing and say, maybe this isn't a good thing to do? Jesus. The horror. Another director, Robbie Starbuck, he even pointed out on Twitter as well how inappropriate this would have been. And he says, do you know how sets work? I do. I've directed some of the biggest stars in the world. A director on the Cuties set and a choreographer told 11-year-olds to simulate sexual moves repeatedly. What they did should have them charged and registered as sex offenders. Totally agree. Totally agree. One shocking article with an interview with the producer of Cuties even confirmed these fears. So when the movie's own producer admits to making 650 young girls audition over the course of 6 months and essentially asking them to twerk for him. Even worse is he says it was only in the very last hour of the last day that we found the actress. It was a really emotional moment. So the humiliation of all those young kids was for nothing then, right? That's what you're saying. 650 young girls twerking for you, and you don't even choose any of them. It's just unreal. It just gets worse and worse and worse. These poor parents, they better start saving for therapy now, I'm telling you. And personally, I would want to know where that audition footage is, and who the heck is storing that. I mean, this is veering into Epstein territory, let me tell you. Yeah, look, this is Zangro. This is the producer, by the way. His name's Zangro. I mean, he looks like a wrong'un, and going by his single name don't half help. Oh, God, these people are sick. I don't know how people are defending this stuff, and believe me, they are. The left-wing media are totally shilling for this film, and by proxy for paedophilic content. Look at this. Rotten Tomatoes positive review aggregate stand at 88%. And here's some examples. The Independent. Cuties on Netflix is too intelligent and moving a film to be marred by one bad taste poster. Right, just about the poster, isn't it? Oh, and then you've got Rolling Stone. Cuties is a coming-of-age movie caught in the culture wars. Thanks to a major marketing mistake, this award-winning French movie has been accused of sexualizing girls. Sorry, major marketing mistake? You mean like making a trailer which includes clips and shots that are just in the movie? At the end of the day, you can't claim your film is against the sexualization of young girls if your film literally sexually exploits young girls. This is the film. This is the film, and it's apparently even more graphic than the so-called marketing mistakes make it seem. Now, I haven't seen it, and I have no plans to see it, but this guy also gives a rundown of what other horrors lie in the movie, right? So, an 11-year-old girl takes a photo of her vagina and posts it online. Fantastic. The 5 young girls take a turn at webcam porn, because of course they do. A young girl tries to take a photo of a schoolboy's penis, because that ain't harassment. An 11-year-old girl finds a used condom and blows it up. Clown world, it's unbelievable. It really is. The funniest part is the director is out here giving interviews in which she's whining about how I received numerous attacks on my character from people who had not seen the film, who thought I was actually making a film about that was apologetic about hypersexualization of children. Well, I wouldn't say apologetic. I would say perversely interested in and perpetuating the encouraging of hypersexualization of children. Sorry, Maimouna Ducouré, but you're not fooling anyone. You're a fucking nonce. Clearly. When even Turkey is outraged and demanding something to be taken down, your morals are off the deep end. Of course, we now have lovies coming out defending it. Tessa Thompson, woke warrior extraordinaire. Cuties is a beautiful film. It gutted me at Sundance Fest. It introduces a fresh voice at the helm. She's a French Senegalese black woman mining her experiences. The film comments on the hypersexualization of pre-adolescent girls. Disappointing to see the current discourse. So the very first thing she says is defending her position with a shield of identity politics, because it is a quote-unquote fresh female voice of French Senegalese black descent that's the most important thing. So your argument is that because the director ticks boxes, she can't be a perv and it's racist to say so. This rhetoric is how they get away with it. Unbelievable. And anyway, it only comments on the sexualization of girls. Well, if that was the original intention, they sure got carried away, didn't they, Miss Thompson? Netflix didn't make this film, y'all. No, they just saw it, praised it, and purchased it with the intention to stream paedophilia into the subscribers' rooms. So nothing to do with Netflix, is it, Tessa? And I just want to quickly highlight this pervert also. He says, incidentally, or she says rather, can never tell these days. Incidentally, I'm a critic who highly recommends Netflix Cuties. It's a wonderful, poignant, challenging and nuanced coming-of-age film, smartly crafted by a wonderful director. The controversy surrounding it seems to be propaganda fueled by Q and non-types and anti-Semites. I also feel like you couldn't have picked a better film to frame such a controversy around. I'm frankly delighted by a bunch of bigots settling in with pitchforks to flame the paedophile movie and discovering this lovely subtle story about girls battling fraught gender roles. Imagine outing yourself as a fucking nonce. Oh, hang on. Coloured hair, pronouns in the bio, say nothing more. Thing is, Ajar, you can rant and whine about bigots and calling us QAnon types all you want, but even IMDb are straight up saying it's a paedophile film. The parental warning section of Cuties' IMDb page lists all of the controversial elements that are included in the movie. At least they were until they were changed and altered overnight. Twitter user Chris was able to screenshot the changes before they were interfered with. Here's the evidence. So he says, they changed the parent guide to downplay it. On the right was this morning and on the left is now. So let's have a quick look at this, shall we? So, sex and nudity. Parental warning. During one of the many highly sexualized and erotic dance scenes that purposefully exploit and objectify numerous scantily clad underage girls, one of the female child dancers lifts up her crop top to fully display her bare breast. And this is the best part. This is lawfully defined as paedophilia and can be extremely distressing to many viewers. Wow. Lawfully defined as paedophilia, and Netflix are broadcasting this into your home. Unbelievable. But this is what happened, or this is what it was watered down to when they changed it. So if we go into the left side, while the film consists of 11-year-old girls dancing very suggestively, it is intended to be seen in an unflattering light. Children mimic what they see online and elsewhere. How watered down and tame is that? It's almost like Netflix bought them off or something. That's very, very worrying. And yes, children do mimic what they see online and on streaming platforms, so I hope they don't stumble across this on Netflix, or else it's going to encourage the same sort of deviancy the film purports to be condemning. So even after all of this overwhelming evidence, you'll be surprised, I'm sure, to know that our friends over at the Stunning and Brave Nonce Flicks is still standing by the film and doubling down on its defence. Oh god, so you got Netflix defends Cuties, calling it a social commentary against the sexualisation of young children, an award-winning film and a powerful story. We'd encourage anyone who cares about these important issues to watch the movie. So they're actively encouraging their audience to watch a paedo film. It's paedo film, and they want you to watch this. So classy. Even when it's hitting them in the pocket, right? They're not going to criticize this even when it's affecting their stock. Look at this. You know, you really do have to ask yourself why they would be defending this still. It's clearly outrageous. It's affected their reputation and tanked their stock, and yet they're still willing to die on this hill. Why? Who are they protecting? Whose interests are they feeding into? If this was any other topic that resulted in such an outcry from your audience and was hitting you in the pocket, surely you would have just issued an apology and removed it from your site and then moved on. Why continue to defend this garbage? Unsurprisingly, there have been numerous calls for Netflix CEO Reed Hastings to go. His timeline has been flooded with outrage and requests for comment, but no response has been given. Even when CNN conducted a 10-minute interview with the guy, not one mention of the Cuties fiasco was brought up, nor about his company's stocks and shares collapsing, just a 10-minute narcissistic monologue about his failed marriage and flogging his new book. Why are the media covering this up? Why are they burying this? They're not even acknowledging it. They're making themselves complicit by not investigating the stuff and holding these deviants to account. There's even a petition to cancel this film, which has reached 163,571 signatures at time of recording, and not one mention of it to the guy when you have the CEO in front of you. Really? Pedo Hollywood was a conspiracy a few years ago. You know, when the likes of Corey Feldman came out and started ranting about how he was abused as a kid by all these producers, but it was never taken seriously and was all just brushed under the carpet, even though people like Roman Polanski openly admitting they raped a child, and then he runs away from the consequences, but is still allowed to keep making films, winning awards, and being applauded by Meryl Streep and other lovies. How are we so blind? Even when the Weinstein Me Too culture, you know, and even now when R. Kelly and Kevin Spacey have been exposed, this type of overt behaviour from media companies, it just can't be ignored anymore. There is a real problem with paedophilia and pedo rings in Hollywood, in the film industry. It's just so blatantly obvious now. We have to do something about this. And I tell you what, this article just puts a cherry on the cake as well. Look at this. According to lefty pedo sympathiser journalist Richard Brody, anti-cutie outrage is now a right-wing campaign. Yeah, you heard that right. Caring about the innocence and safeguarding of our children is now the weaponry of a right-wing movement. Cuties is about the absence of knowledge and absence of reasonable discourse about sex and sexuality, power and desire that help young people to avow and confront these drives constructively. Blah, blah, fucking blah. That idea is brought to the fore in an extraordinary brief symbolic ending. It's enough to give a right when you're a conniption. Right. Whatever you say, Dicky boy, honestly, this guy's a disgrace. And worse, he's dangerous. Dangerous to culture and dangerous to the safeguarding of our children. Look, if being anti-pedo is now a right-wing thing, then I am happy to be considered right-wing. And I think if this whole debacle isn't the final straw to red-pill liberal lefties to finally see that the insidious narratives that the industry and their henchman media are trying to get us to accept, then God knows what will. Even the title of this film is creepy. Cuties, really? And they had to translate it from French, so they could have changed it to something less slimy at any point. But there you go. Cute as it is. Right, I'm done ranting. I'd love to hear what you think. Is this just a movie highlighting exploitation, or is it exploitation in the name of exploitation? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because I'd love to hear them. And if you enjoyed the vid or found it interesting, kindly drop a like and subscribe for future content. Thanks for watching. Yikes.